Thanks for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a lead generation company in the network marketing or MLM space making just over $11,000 a month in net profit. The listing number on this one is 40128. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making your buying decision. We've got the seller JR with us today to go through the site and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, JR.
Hey, I'm glad to be here, Justin.
So tell me a little bit about your background in building or running websites and online businesses. How did you come up with the idea for the site? What other sites have you built?
I own quite a few domains. As far as businesses, this is definitely my main one for the last couple of years. I got on the internet back in 1996. That's about the same time I was introduced to network marketing. And back in the old days, it was always build a names list of 100 family friends, people you went to school with and so forth, and contact them. And because of some of my successes in the industry prior to starting this company, I saw that there was a niche for leads to sell directly to network marketers, so they don't have to go out there and actually, build up a names list and contact family and friends and so forth.
So tell me a little bit about how this site in particular makes money.
We have what's known as marketing associates, same thing as a distributor, and these marketing associates can join for free. And there's one thing I did with the company, because I've been in this industry for a little over 20 years. A lot of companies, they only make their money when people sign up with the company. And that kind of gives the industry a bad name because it's known as kind of front-end loading. People have to buy a garage full of lotions or potions or something, or they have to sign up for $500 or $1,000 before they ever make any money. So with our...
Yeah, and then you're in the club, and then you're probably going to walk away, and we got your money, and you've got your garage full of stuff you'll never use, right?
Yeah, and they just burn and churn through people. And so the whole premise behind starting this company was to offer leads, which every single networker needs. Over 250,000 people a week in the world will join some kind of a business opportunity where they need leads. And so we saw there's a large niche out there, but we did not want to have a fee to sign up, so it's absolutely free to sign up. We give them free web pages. A lot of companies will charge $20, $30 a month just for the privilege of being able to log into a back office. So that's a big income stream for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. We just decided to do all for free. And so the only time money ever exchanges hands is when somebody buys one of our packages of leads. We have 6 different lead packages, anywhere from $10 to $200. And the way we have it set up right now is when they log into the back office, they can see the different packages. And when they buy one of those packages, it generates a weekly subscription. A lot of people want a monthly subscription. However, the professional networkers that I talk to, they can't wait a month in between getting leads. They need leads coming in every single week. We even have some people that buy leads every other day. They're on a subscription for leads, 2, 3, 4 times a week because they need that consistent traffic.
Gotcha. So, okay, I sign up for an MLM, right? And I realize, okay, I don't want to do the friends and family approach. That probably isn't going to work for me. And I realize that there's another opportunity to target people online. I sign up with you, and I can sign up for free and get some of the, content about, how to sell people, how to, work your network or your community. But then if I sign up for a subscription, I can get a weekly subscription of leads that are sent to me that I'm going to continue to pay for weekly or whatever, that give me leads that I can contact and reach out to and get them involved in my business.
Correct. Yep. We provide the full name, the address, the telephone number. And some of the leads we get, it'll have gender and birthday and a few other fields, and then also an IP address. And that way they can go out and either email or they can voice blast. We have a lot of people that like to smile and dial and sit there and call people one by one. We don't really sell our leads as telephone qualified leads. We sell them as more as email qualified leads. They're more in bulk. And, the slogan of the company is exposure is everything. And it's because we feel like you have to expose a lot of people to your business, like any other business, in order to, build up a nice customer base. So our packages are anywhere from 50 leads to 5,000 leads every single week.
Gotcha. The voicemail stuff is funny. We did that for a company that I worked for previously, and they would send them out like in the evening or at night to make sure they got a voicemail. And the voice would be just, hey, this is Dave, just giving you a call and it sounds so realistic. So, the more realistic or the more, like a real person you can make it sound, the more likely you are to get a call back from your voicemail recording. Do they have people that do that on like a low level? Like we were doing it to 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 people. Do they have them that'll do it for like 500 or 1,000?
Oh, yeah, and not even that many. There's a service out of California I use. It's 3.5 cents per 60-second call, and you can queue up 10, 50, 100, whatever you want. We actually did a demo last year for somebody who bought the 5,000 package. It's called it's the biggest package we sell. And we showed them how to use voice blasting to build their organization. They recruited 153 people their first week using these leads. And anybody that's ever been in this industry, those numbers are unheard of. They're blown away with those numbers. A lot of it has to do with our compensation plan. We're totally different than every other network marketing or multi-level marketing company out there because we were the first to market with this very unique compensation plan, and that's what's attracted as many people. We have over 50,000 distributors right now.
Well, that's crazy. How does the compensation plan work? Is it kind of like an affiliate deal because most of our audience is more familiar with, I'd say, internet marketing in the online space than necessarily MLM. How does that work exactly?
Sure, and I would say it's definitely more like an affiliate program. In affiliate programs, a lot of people are familiar with a 2-tier affiliate program.
Yes.
Ours is unlimited tier. And what I mean is if you look at conventional network marketing, there's binaries, which means there's 2 legs. And one challenge a lot of people have with a binary compensation plan is you have to balance your legs. You have to build that volume in your left leg at the same rate you're building your right leg, or it gets out of sync and you don't make any real money. You have matrices, which are maybe like a 3 wide by 7 level deep matrix, and you have to build this perfect organization. You have stair steps. You have all these crazy compensation plans. What we built, and again, we're the world's first, nobody's ever done this before, it's the world's first straight line organization, which means everybody falls in line one after another. And what it does is there's no competition within the organization because everybody's working together. You're not trying to take, Susan and place her in John's organization and now the other person's upset that you didn't put this, premium distributor underneath them. Everybody who comes in after you goes under you no matter who enrolled them. So it creates a lot of volume, a lot of excitement really fast.
What percentage of the weekly recurring from people that are buying leads do you keep worst case and best case? So meaning you, the company owner, are you keeping somewhere between 30 and 70% depending on whether or not they're attached to other people that are in the organization?
There's 2 philosophies to building an MLM organization, a network marketing organization, is you can pay a huge upfront commission or you can pay a lot of little commissions over time. We have what's called an FOB bonus. That's one of 19 ways we pay. We pay a 50% FOB to the marketing associate who brought that new marketing associate or that customer to our company. FOB stands for first order bonus. So if Susan comes into the company and she buys a $10 package, well, the person that brought her in makes 50%, so $5 off of that initial purchase for that first week.
Yep.
Now, the catch is the person that brought Susan to the company, they also must be active. If they're not active, they only make 25%. So there's a motivation for them to want to, remain active. What I mean by active, they have an active weekly subscription.
Yeah.
And when somebody buys leads, it only activates them for the next 7 days. And then as soon as we process that next order in this system, which is all proprietary software, it knows that they're qualified for commissions for the next 7 days.
So it's going to vary heavily depending on, whether the person's active or whether they came in under someone else or whatever. But on average, what is your average take on revenue? What's your margin? 30%, 50%?
It's actually quite a bit higher. I've turned over some of those financials, but it ranges anywhere from 8 to 11% is what we're paying out per day. And so one thing that I would probably counsel the new owner of doing is adding more money to the compensation plan through bonuses, bonus pools. There's other things you could do to motivate people to even create more volume, because it is so heavily commissioned up front, and then it's all based upon bonus pools, based upon group volume, straight line volume. So again, from my point of view, it's extremely profitable because we're keeping 89 to 92% out of every dollar. But that's something that I would consider, or recommend changing.
So, okay, that pricked my ears up a little bit. That's really good margins. You mentioned bonuses, and one of the things we've talked about on the show and we found is that there's always a lot of value in like an experiential bonus rather than just a financial bonus. Obviously, there's clear value to you as a business owner in doing that. Like, if I give an experiential bonus, it may cost me 25% of what the cost of the financial bonus would, and it gives me more value. But what I mean by that is offer trips, offer, NFL tickets, something like that people can win or have a chance at getting that, they can really enjoy and look back on and say, oh, this is awesome. I got this from these guys. They're so cool. You can get off cheaper by doing things like that.
It's amazing to do something like that. There's a gentleman here, I'm in Utah, and I won't mention his name or the company he was involved with, but this gentleman made, I think it was $7 million in 4 or 5 years with this company. And with his organization, he was the 4th largest distributor in this company. He ventured up with kind of like a premium gift kind of a company that provided these books that had all these different, prizes, TVs to, maybe there was trips. just all kinds of stuff, but it was all based on bonuses. So he would compensate his organization by saying, doing this activity, you get 5 bonus points for the one, you get 20 or whatever, and you could redeem all this for all of these different, products in this catalog. He built an unbelievable organization. That's something that would definitely work.
I know a company that does that because I was looking through this kind of like reward kind of like compensation kind of thing. And there are companies that are third parties that will come into your organization and they already have like some pre-made stuff and pre-made software that will allow people to kind of like employees or customers or whatever to kind of track their points. And so you don't have to have this fully custom built. They basically can act as an add-on within your organization to give people these points. They start collecting these points and they can redeem them for different prizes and you get to set the prize. Really interesting stuff. We're thinking like our organization isn't large enough to do something like that, but I could see for a, 100+ person company that being pretty valuable, pretty interesting. We're actually thinking about doing something this year, like a customer love program where we reach out to previous sellers and kind of like stalk them a little bit and look up their information and see what we can do to delight them, to surprise them. With the hopes that, it lengthens our, I guess the better way to put it would be strengthen our relationship and get more long-term value out of sellers and buyers. So it's really, really interesting stuff. Let's move into a little bit more about the listing. I know why you chose the niche a little bit. You were already involved in it. You found a need personally for leads and more leads. You started this in 2011. How long did it take for you to kind of get the website and the business off the ground?
We actually kind of formulated the whole idea in 2010, the 4th quarter of 2010. And it took me about 3 to 4 months. We spent almost $60,000 having the software developed, only to find that the software company just could not make it happen. Out of the box, other compensation plans are very easy to do. This is the world's first, the way we did it. So we had to kind of go back and find a better company and unfortunately pay all over again. And so it took a while, but I would say by the time we started the look of the website, it took 5 to 6 months to kind of get everything down exactly the way we wanted it. And we launched first week of October 2011.
So your back end is completely custom, right? So in terms of like the payouts or the kind of the affiliate piece of the website, that's completely custom. Is that right?
Everything's custom, yeah. We use one of the largest network marketing software companies out there. There's a big company, $1 billion company here locally in Utah that also uses them. They bought the software and they paid over $1 million. So we pay, we're at $500 a month is our software fee every single month.
Oh. So you're paying that $500 a month and they keep it up for you. They'll, make sure that it's up and running for you, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. If I have any problems, I have the owner's information, which I rarely ever have to talk with him. There's 3 different levels of tech support, and this is not generic tech support. These are people I know on a first name basis that can get anything done. And if I need to make a change, if it's a simple change, like I'm going to, change the compensation plan from 5% on level 1 to 10%, I can do all that in the back end, all the reports. It's very, very robust.
That's great, JR, because that's one of the concerns of a potential buyer, right, is going, okay, built this custom system that, I buy the site and it breaks a month later. Who do I talk to? How does that work? You know what I mean?
And I already paid the money up front for all the custom programming. And so now all I'm paying is a monthly maintenance fee.
Cool. Okay, we actually do something for our website. It's kind of similar. Like we spent a bunch for the redesign, and now we're just paying to kind of make sure it keeps working. But let's talk a little bit about your reason for the sale, JR. Why are you selling the site?
I'm notorious for getting bored with projects. I actually owned another network marketing company in the late 90s. It was a product-based company. I did about $2 million a year with that company. Got sidetracked, wanted to open up a chain of internet cafes, which I did. I opened 6 of them up here in Utah, which wasn't a wise decision because Utah's not really known for coffee. And obviously internet cafes had a huge emphasis on, gourmet coffee and this and that. And I got so busy with that project, I let the other company just kind of dissolve away. And it was doing about $17,000 a month, and I just closed it down just so I put all my time into the internet cafes. And then I got sidetracked a couple of years later on a different project. And, honestly, it's like I know I've had these assets, but I always thought they were just kind of my baby that I, brought into fruition that nobody else could see outside of being a distributor or customer would even have any interest. And I was listening to one of your podcasts earlier this year, and they were talking about an exit strategy and, selling, this business. And I was like, because I'm in the same situation right now. I started an actual product-based company. It's not network marketing. It's not even in that niche. And it's doing very, very well. And this was definitely taking more time than this one that I'm selling. And I'm like, if you look at the financials, I don't know if I can mention the financials here on this thing, but what do we do? 2012, I think it was 400,000. Last year was 700,000, and I think we're at like $250,000 this year because I started this big company last October. So something has to give. Wife, 4 kids. 2 dogs. There's only enough time in a day, and I've unfortunately just kind of let this one sit on the sidelines, and it's just moving along, doing the numbers that it's current.
You don't want it to go to zero. So like we had on a smaller scale, we had a company called TwitArt, all right? And so we did Twitter backgrounds for people, and it was doing well, a few $1,000s a month. And over time, we just kind of it wasn't that big, so it wasn't much of a focus for us. And it literally went to zero. We gave it away to somebody. So you're in the position now where I guess you could hang back and do nothing and focus on your other business and let this one go to zero. Or you might as well sell it off to someone who comes in with, a breath of fresh air and some interest in revamping it and rolling it out and continuing the business. So it makes sense to me.
Absolutely. And especially in this industry where you have a database of these 50,000 people that they've taken the time to go online, enroll, put their social security number, their telephone number, their full name. They wanted to be involved with the company. So by having that fresh air brought in will totally stimulate sales. And this is one thing I don't want to do though. And I haven't spoken with you specifically about this, but I don't want to just have somebody write me a check and I want to walk away from the company. I know what it's done the last couple of years. I know what it could do this year. And I'd rather take, that 20 times earnings or whatever, and then be able to retain a very small percentage of the company because I know it could be at that 700,000 level very, very easily. It could be back at, well over $1 million with somebody spending a couple of hours per day. So I still want to be involved with it, not making decisions, be there as a, consultant if they have questions or whatnot, but be able to kind of, take that ride with them.
I think that's interesting, JR, and I think that some buyers are going to see some value in that. Well, number one, and you have to see it from the buyer side, is that they can get a discount, right? So they can, by letting you retain a percentage of ownership or a small percentage of ownership, they can then save some cash in the deal. But also, there's reason for you to stick around and make sure it's still working for them. So there's some upside for them. Well, let me ask you, Jared, to get back to kind of why you're selling. What do you plan on doing with the cash when you sell? Are you planning on investing in the product business? Are you taking a trip to around the world? What's your plan?
It'll probably just go in the bank. I have 2 kids in college right now, 1 or 2 more that's coming up here within the next couple of years. So as far as the money, nothing. Need new cars. I don't need a new house, vacation home. Need anything. What appeals to me more is to have a monthly residual coming in based upon the performance of the company. And then, yes, spend some time on this other product company and probably turn around and sell this one and do the same thing, maybe, multiple times per year, build something up to, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 to the point where I get bored with it, or somebody else, maybe that's where they could take it to the next level, take it to 2 to 3 million. And if I can get a little piece of that, before you know it, maybe have 5 or 10 of these things out there and everybody's happy.
Sweet, Joe. I think I got a pretty good understanding of, what the business is, how it works. Tell me a little bit about the site history. Now, it was built you had the plan for it. You started in 2010, like Q4 2010. The site was built in October of 2011. What was the trajectory of the business? Like, was it kind of like launch and get a ton of people in right away? Was it like a slow burn and started building up a momentum over 3 to 6 months? How did that go?
It definitely lit on fire the very first day. We signed up over 5,000 people the first weekend, and it crashed the server. This was from the first software company, and from that point on, I just had a battle with the company. Feature enrollments that were supposed to be there would take a month or two for them to finally get it to me, even though I paid them, and it was just a nightmare. I was actually sitting where were we? I think I was in Cancun or Maui. But anyways, we were on vacation, and the software crashed again. And so I had to scramble, and that's when I started looking for a different company, got into a big war with this other software company. I ended up just writing them a check to get out of, contract with them, which was not right. I mean, they should have just let me walk away, but still we had a contract. And so that was in February. Up until February, we weren't even accepting credit cards. We were only accepting Alert Pay. I forgot what they used to call it. It wasn't Alert Pay. It was somebody else before they took over. But so that was extremely difficult. We had to have people go down to like CVS Pharmacy or Walmart and get a green dot card or .com prepaid card. And we have people at 3:00 in the morning doing this so they can actually join. And so we finally got approved to accept credit cards in February of 2012. And then we obviously lost some momentum, from those first couple of months. But there was enough people that stuck with us that everything just started growing. And like I said, I think that first full year, 2012, it was something like 400,000 and like 700,000 last year.
Launches are always a little messy, so I totally see where you're coming from there. It sucks that you launched while you're on vacation, man. That would freak me out. First of all, you're freaked out that, something would go down like it apparently did for you. And then second, that I'm stuck, like I'm at this beautiful beach. I'm in there hacking away going, oh my God, I need to keep this going, make sure everything's cool.
Yeah, we didn't launch when I was on vacation. We launched when I was in Utah. I was
okay.
Even though the software company was also in Utah. This was in February, so this was 4 months later, when all these other features were supposed to be done. Things were supposed to be clicking along just fine, and that's when the software company, I just had a big blowout. And then I'm on vacation, and so then I'm trying to scramble to figure out what in the heck we're going to do, either just close up the company and do something else. And we just had so many people that loved the concept that we decided to, kind of bite the bullet, and we paid a premium price to have the software developed within a matter of weeks, which they told us could not be done. But, you write a big enough check, they normally can get the stuff done pretty quick. And
how did you get the 5,000 initially? I'm always curious about that. Like, did you have like a full-on launch strategy? Were you just kind of fumbling through? Were you asking some people in your network? Like, how did that go exactly?
I told a couple of people, and I expected to sign up 200 or 300 people that first weekend, just kind of keep it on the down low, kind of test the servers and everything. But with network marketing, that's one reason I love this industry, is things can take a viral nature extremely fast. They can just catch on fire. It was like pouring gas on a fire. It just took off so fast.
Was it really you just telling a couple of people over the phone, or was it like you were working your butt off to get this launched and to get the message out and to make sure? Like, it just sounds crazy to me that you're like, hey, tell a couple of people. And was that part of the reason that it was successful? Do you think it was kind of this hush down low thing?
I think it's because of, I don't want to pat myself on my back, but I've been in the industry for a number of years. I've always been the top distributor in every company I've ever been with. Not half of them or 3/4 of them, but every single one. And people are like, you know what? We've seen him on stage. I've done presentations in front of 17,000 people and all that, but I was a guy who did not want to be there. I remember with one company, I was a number one distributor. Matter of fact, my team and I swept the top 9 of top 10 positions in that company. I wasn't even at their convention else. And because my daughter had a soccer tournament that weekend. And so I had people in the audience say, they have a check for you and a trophy. I'm like, well, go up and get it for me, because my family's always been way more important. My time frame is way more important than the money. And so I think because of my name recognition in the industry, maybe some of the people I told, it did go viral.
They're well known too. They probably have their own larger networks. And
even to this day, after 3 years, if you look at my Twitter page, or you look at you said you've been to my blog and my Facebook page, I've never, ever mentioned the company one time those three mediums, because I don't believe I should use my position in the industry, which I do some consulting, to go out there and recruit from these social, and there's nothing wrong with that, these social networking type sites. Because a lot of people in this industry, what they do, and again, this gives the industry a bad name.
Pitch.
You hear these success stories of somebody who, they brought in 50,000 people their first month. Well, they raped and pillaged their previous organization and brought all those people over. I've always built things just from scratch, and that's where the idea of selling leads came from, because people would say, well, how did you do it? I'm like, well, if you go out there and contact, 1,000 people a day, I'm going to have more success than you have by going down to Walmart trying to find your next prospect. And I'm doing everything online, everything through email blast, everything through voice blasting, and I'm basically just doing a ton of exposures. And again, that's why the slogan of the company is exposure is everything. We just show these distributors how to go out there and really expose people to businesses. Let me mention one thing, too, about the company. It's always been our mission. It's actually on the website. Our mission is to help these folks become distributors with their existing company, not to steal them away from their company and join us exclusively. We want them to use our training, which there's not a lot. That's where it could really be beefed up, and there'd be a nice new income stream and a lot of meat, for distributors. But it's to take these generic leads and help them go back and become, better distributors. And now we have people that, because companies come and go in this niche all the time, this is all they do is just build their company with us.
Jared, tell me a little bit about something that because our audience likes to hear these. What kind of marketing or business strategy have you tried with this that just didn't work, that just fell flat and you had to abandon them?
There's been nothing that we've tried, because it all came about from just building the organization, building the marketing associates. And that's a beautiful thing about building a network marketing organization. I don't go out there. I don't pay for, pay-per-click or Facebook ads or none of that kind of stuff. We're compensating the marketing associates. That's their job to go out there. That's why they're being compensated to bring those customers to us.
Were there any price, it doesn't have to just be a traffic thing though. Were there any pricing adjustments you wish you would have made earlier, things you would have tested earlier in the business that did do well that you wish you would have?
Yeah, one thing we did do, I forgot the exact date. It was probably early last year. We used to have only 5 packages. The cheapest was $24.95. Well, times 4, that's $100 a month. And so we had some people who said, I just can't swallow that kind of extra, money payment every single month. So we came up with a $9.95 plan. And so, or package. So now it's only $40 a month. And so that definitely stimulated sales, even though we didn't put any, what's the word? It doesn't matter with us what level you're at. A lot of companies, if you buy in at the $200 level, you're always going to make more money than the guy who signed up at the $10 level.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? If you have a need for the leads, buy what level you're comfortable at, and the compensation plan is what it is. You're not going to get extra perks because you're paying more money per week.
Okay, so your compensation plan doesn't matter as long as you're paying and you're in, you're in. It's not like if you're paying $200 a month or $500 a month, you get the extra super duper payments and deeper whatever. It's just if you're paying, you're in.
Exactly. And that levels the playing field for everybody. The professional networker all the way to the brand new mom or pop who this is their first venture ever. It's a level playing field.
It's interesting. So you added a $10 a week option, which previous to that you were at $25 a week, basically $100 a month customers. You added a $40 a month customer. When I look at this and think about this, I'm like, that sounds horrible to me, because what I found, and maybe this wasn't true for you, is that when you add those lower price products, you get more customers, but your margin per customer goes down because there's always a little bit of work or customer service or support you have to offer. And those generally are not the best customers. You know what I mean? I'd rather get more of the $500 a month or $1,000 a month because they just tend to be better customers overall. Or did you find that the $40 a month customers were fantastic and you were tapping into a market that you didn't have previously?
We definitely tapped into a market that we didn't have, because these people, maybe they couldn't visualize buying 500 leads per week at one of the larger packages. So 50 leads at the $10 level made perfect sense to them. Even though if they work the system like I tell them to, they're automating everything. They're not picking up the phone calling 50 people a week. Nobody likes to do that. I would say obviously customer service went up because we had more customers we had to service, which is pretty simple because we have a knowledge base and it's pretty simple to, support the distributors.
What do you use for support? What system are you using for support?
It's Groove HQ. I think it's kind of like...
You use them. I really like those guys. They got great content marketing. We're with Zendesk. They've been around a lot longer, but if it wasn't such a crazy hassle to switch, I'd probably switch to Groove, honestly.
And they're great to work with. And I pay $15 a month. And it's all linked up through my back office here at the software. And so everything works, actually, I mean, very, very good. I have the app on my phone, my iPad, and so it's nice.
Cool. Well, JR, tell me something that you did with the business, or, whether it was pricing or whatever that really worked. I guess the $10 a week was a big winner for you. Are there any other big wins that you can think of that just when you did that, you were like, yeah, this is a good move?
Yeah, there's software that I've actually not mentioned because I just kind of forgot about it. That is a major income stream for the company, and I will include the software. What happens is somebody comes to the company, they buy a package of, say, 50 leads, and they're like, okay, you tell us you probably shouldn't, just call one by one. Let's automate it. Well, how do I automate it? And so I took some software that I've been using in several companies over the last 12 years or whatever, and I set this up for my son, who he had turned 18, so this is his first network marketing company he'd ever joined. He quickly became the number 2 distributor. People are like, well, that's because your dad's helping you. I'm like, well, I gave him a tool. And so they're like, why can't we have that same tool? And so it's called the lead capture system, and we install it on their own domain. So they have to go buy a domain. We link them up to our GoDaddy, so we make a little affiliate commission there. We set up their own domain with this lead capture system. So when prospects go to the website, captures everything. There's an autoresponder built in. They can import all the leads. It takes 4 clicks of their mouse to do this, and we charge them $90 to do that. It's the same software I actually sell at my blog for $799. But as long as they're active with this company, we only charge them $90. And then the renewal is 2-year renewal at the end. That's something I would definitely change. If you look at any kind of chargebacks, it's normally because somebody bought a lead capture system for $90, which breaks down to only be $7.50 a month. But then on that 12th month, that anniversary date, they're hit for 2 years. So I've just not taken the time to go into the credit card processing thing, and I was going to switch it over where it's a monthly. It goes to a 7.
You're absolutely going to get hit by someone 12 months later gets charged. They're like, what the hell is this? I get it.
They know that when they sign up.
But 12 months, people forget, man. What I signed up for 12 months ago? Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing I was thinking about doing too, is I was actually thinking about lowering the fee from the $90 to like a $37 or a $47 setup fee, and then charging $19.95 a month. So I actually make more money, and it only takes 7.5 minutes to set the website.
I think that's a smart move. I mean, if you can get that recurring revenue is generally worth a bit more. So yeah, I think that would be good, actually.
Yeah, and stepping back, kind of the pre-interview that I did a few weeks ago made me really think about certain things that I would do. And so I've actually came up with a couple of different ideas that will immediately increase, revenue.
We're going to talk about that in just a minute, actually. We're going to look at some of the opportunities you think are best. Let's talk first about some of the traffic and earnings. So the traffic right now is coming from, it's not much of it organic. It's mostly referral traffic. Is that right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so you've got other people out on the web mentioning this site, and so you're getting a ton of referral. Are there normally like 1 or 2 main referrals, or is it coming across hundreds of referrals?
It'd be coming from hundreds of referrals. Kind of the 80-20 rule would definitely play in there.
Okay, and then have you ever had much organic? Because there's not much organic to the site right now at all, right?
I don't believe so. No, I've pulled it up on Google a couple of times. Because, again, we compensate the marketing associates, the distributors.
They're the ones out there talking and spreading the word. Have you ever used paid traffic to the site?
No.
Okay.
We have, in the back office, we have an entire section called marketing materials. We have banner links, and we have text ads that are already coded with their ID number, their username. And so these affiliates, also known as marketing associates or distributors, they have access to those banners and those text files, so they can go put it on Twitter, Facebook. I mean, I don't think anybody's using paid ads through, but somebody could easily do that.
Well, that's one of the reasons I mentioned is that we have buyers that are heavy on paid ads. They like paid ads. They actually like companies that haven't done that because it's something they can explore. Or if they have done it, they like to hear that there's an ROI or close to it. So there's some opportunity there for someone buying the site. Tell me a little bit about the earnings. So, it was like 400,000 in 2012, 700,000 in 2013, and about $250,000 in 2014. Is that right? And that's mostly because you backed off of the business, or you haven't been as focused on it last year?
Well, I started another business October of last year, 2013. And so that one, which I have that at about 35,000 a month right now, is just consuming a lot of my time. And I've just kind of put this on the back burner.
What's up with October in you, man? Like, you started your business in October. Like, that's your month. That's your, like, October rolls around. You're like, all right, man, I need to start my new business now.
And it's, you know what? It's probably because it starts to snow. I can't go out and do my other activities.
Oh, yeah, Utah, man. There you go. Tell me about the content that's on the site. Is it heavily like geared toward like helping people figure out how to use the leads, the value of the leads? Like, what kind of content do you have on the site?
I mean, there's quite a few pages that break down the compensation plan, the leads, what type of leads, going into network marketing history, you know, all the usual stuff people would kind of expect. In the back office, there is a lot of other information in there. We have videos that show people how to, you know, buy their leads. There is a marketing materials section. And we need to spend more time in there. You know, if I was to do conference calls, we used to do conference calls in 2013. That's probably why sales were up. You know, distributors love to jump on a conference call and just be able to ask questions. Just because of my schedule, I just got away from it. But we used to archive those and put them in the back office. And that would be, you know, something that's so simple to do. Only takes, you know, half hour a week or, you know, half hour a couple times a month. But we've just kind of got away from it.
Gotcha. Talk to me a little bit about, because I understand that I think this comes to the territory of the industry, and there are some good things said for sure online, but there's some not so positive stuff too in terms of people saying, oh, I don't like this company, or I got ripped off here, or I did this. Why do you think that is? How much of a worry do you think that is for a new buyer to take the site on?
I think if you were only looking at pay per click advertising, it might be a concern. And I know the site you're referencing, and I would challenge not only you, but anybody else, go try to put a positive testimonial on there. They will not publish it.
Yeah.
Because they don't make money off it. They only make money off of the negative, and they're always feeding you off these other programs as well. And I know because I went in there to try to respond. The only real negatives out there, I think there was 5 or 6, and it was because of the chargeback thing. And that's what we have to, we fix that charge.
That makes sense. What the hell was this thing that I signed up for a year ago? Also, I mean, it's just the business too. I mean, I think that there's a lot of, and if you have a wide enough, you're reaching out to thousands and thousands of people, there's just going to be some people that are just clearly not happy. There are some, you know, positive reviews as well, so I would say that it's balanced, but, you know, there are some bad complaints or some negative reviews as well. I'm looking at one that says you guys are a B-. I don't know what's up with that. It's like the fair and balanced approach. Anyway, so tell me a little bit about the opportunities you see. We talked about that a minute ago. If someone wanted to take, like, you know, a not very risky path to growth, so they just wanted to kind of maintain, maybe grow 10%, 20% a year, what advice would you have for them?
I mean, just by somebody taking over the company and sending an email to the distributor base, it'll grow fairly quick by 20 or 30%. Some of the things that I've looked at doing, and one of the ideas actually came from one of your podcasts that I was listening to, is in the back office where people have to go to see, you know, their earnings, to request their commissions and all that. I'm going to put a classified ad back there. And this is one that, you know, obviously, if I build the company up even more profitable than it is now, I can look at selling it. You know, if it takes 3 or 4 months to sell, it could be, you know, doing twice what it is right now. And so one of those things is I'm going to do those classified ads in the back office. And one thing I'm going to do is the distributors, the marketing associates that have a weekly subscription, I'm going to give them a free classified ad, because there's not a day goes by we don't get somebody that opens up a support ticket and says, because again, the straight line, I have 3,000 people underneath me. How can I contact those people? We say you can't. You know, yes, they're in your organization. You have the ability to earn off of those commissions that are there, but you cannot go out there and promote, you know, your other company to them. And I'm like, well, if that's what they want to do, then I could just sell classified ad space in the back office and just have it rotate through these ads. That's a big enough motivator for, I would say, a double-digit percentage of the distributors to reactivate immediately just to get their ad in the back office.
And they can get in front of the people that signed up underneath them, and they can promote their MLM opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think, and then again, I'll make it where their ad is only on there for the next 7 days. As long as their subscription goes through, their classified can stay longer. And then maybe the people who buy the larger packages can have maybe the banner stays up online longer, or, maybe it rotates twice as many, or some different things I was looking at. And if somebody really wanted to take it to a whole new level, I actually had one of my programmers do this. I think it was 2013. We never activated it, but we put together almost like a Yellow Pages, but it's a breakdown of every single network marketing company in the United States, over 3,000 of them. And we just have the basic contact information to all these companies. And what I was going to do is actually put this page is sponsored by, and then anybody could have that ad space. So then we have 3,300 other pages, not even including the international MLMs, because we do business in 190 countries. If you've been to the website, you've seen the kind of the theme. Yeah. It shows the world. And so we're not limited to just doing business in the U.S. And I think by having that sponsored by on these other pages, that's an easy, $195 or so, per month that somebody, even if they're not a distributor, they could actually buy that classified space. And then obviously maybe we'd say you get 50% off if you're an active distributor.
So let's say that I really wanted to grow the hell out of this over the next 12 to 24 months. I want to 2X, 3X, I want to 5X this business. What would be the best approach to doing that?
Best approach is I would immediately do a conference call where I would introduce the new owner. I would explain to them why we're kind of passing the torch, and just introducing them to the new owner. I would let them know that there's going to be different types of leads, which are easily available out there. Some people don't want the bulk leads. Some people want more of a diet and weight loss lead. Some people want a lead of somebody who's only looking to make, $2,500 per month. These are all niches. I just set it up where it's so simple. I can operate this thing in 30 to 45 minutes a day. I didn't want to have to worry about so-and-so bought this kind of a lead. Everybody just has, the same leads. And like we talked about, they are exclusive. We're not selling the same person over and over and over. These are all exclusive packages, but the only difference is at 50 or 250 or 5,000 a week.
Yeah.
And so I would let people know that you're looking at doing different types of niche leads. And I'm contacted all the time by insurance agents and real estate brokers who want non-network marketing leads. And I did, for a little bit of time, I won't mention their name, but they're a big lead company online. I bought a membership, and we were able to download leads from their site. We turned around and resold it to the distributor. So they paid us a $5 search fee, and then we would go in and search. They didn't know where we were getting our leads from. We'd come back and say, okay, in your zip code, there's, 71, and the price is $95 or whatever. And we did good, but again, because I'm kind of the only person running it, I have a VA who's actually fulfilling the orders. I got tired of going and doing the search fee and, coming up with the price, emailing.
It was very manual process.
Yeah, it'd be great, though.
So there are some opportunities, I'd say, in expanding outside of just MLM or networking. There's other people. Lead generation is huge, huge, huge business, and there are all different kinds of niches you could go after for sure. Was there any opportunity, because I saw this as possibly being one, and like doing like a wholesale approach. So right now, and to be clear, I'm not sure that we actually mentioned this, but you're buying the leads on the back end, cleaning them up, and then selling them on the retail end. Is there any opportunity for you to sell to some of the MLM companies and clean up their leads and like have them then pass that down to their people? Could you sell on wholesale?
We could. We actually have, I think it's 7 or 8 different owners of other network marketing companies that are distributors with our company. And they buy. I don't know exactly what they're doing with them after they buy from us, but there are people who wanted more leads. Our biggest package is 5,000. They want 50,000 or 100,000. And it's just something that we just never looked into. I didn't feel like there was enough of those people that I didn't want to do anything special.
Just, go down our funnel. This is the way we do business. You got to go this way. Or if there was a huge demand for it, you're like, okay, I'll go do it. But
exactly. But I wanted to be able to teach the VA to do it and then just do it over and over and over again without me having to, be there every single day. And some of these different things I just didn't take off fast enough, probably because we didn't promote it correctly. Another good income stream while I'm thinking about it, though, is some people, they love the idea of getting the actual leads, but there's other folks who say, I just want the traffic. And so I've looked into buying, if it's Facebook likes or, Twitter likes or, old domain traffic where you can give somebody, 1,000 hits a day to their website. I've never looked into what kind of quality it is. So we've never offered that, but that'd probably be a big hit. And I know some of this stuff's really cheap to buy. But
I think paid traffic, and specifically like banner advertising, that around other blogs and websites that are in the space, I think would be Definitely worth something, that people should take a look at exploring. JR, let me ask you, in terms of, let's talk about risks a little bit for a new buyer. I feel you adequately answered the question about kind of the customized software. That was one of the things I was thinking about, is that, as a new buyer, I'm worried that thing goes to shit on me, and then, I'm stuck with something I can't fix. That sounds much better. One of the things that I'd say is a worry for me as a buyer is that if I buy the site and we do this conference call and we say, hey, this new guy's taking over, how do I know that some people aren't just going to jump ship, right? How do I know that, 50% of the current signups are going to go, oh, I'm going with JR. Whatever he's doing, I'm going to go over there. And that would be a concern for a buyer. So how do you think we go about easing into that? Or do you think that's not a concern?
I think it's a concern on a distributor level, because distributors come and go all the time. They try to take all their team with them. From my point of view, I don't want to jump ship. I still want to have a little piece of it. And I have no desire to go out and start another network marketing company. I'm not saying that's not in my future. I don't know what's going to happen down the road. But as of this moment, that's something I would not do. And another thing, like I mentioned earlier on the call, one thing I've never, in all the companies I've been with, is I've never taken my existing distributor base and moved them over to the next company. I don't even promote it on Facebook or anything. And so if I went out to build something, I always build it from scratch. And, obviously there's non-disclosures and all that kind of stuff I could sign as well.
I think that the message to you that you're staying on board, I think would probably help with that. And it could be like a longer transition period. I think that might help as well.
I think anybody who's been here for any length of time with the company, they probably get that feeling, because I did stop doing conference calls and things that, it's kind of that high level activity that does motivate people to sign up, and remain active. Let me mention one other big thing though. And this would, I don't want to just throw random numbers out, but this would increase the bottom line, virtually overnight. I use a credit card processor. I won't mention their name, but what they do is if a subscription payment does not go through, they deactivate the subscription after one time. So it's not like a PayPal where they continue every 5 days or other merchant. And it just happens to be because of some personal credit that I personally have, I couldn't go out and get a conventional merchant account. And so I think with somebody who wanted to come in and use a regular merchant services account. As a matter of fact, I sent some screenshots from the back office. There's something like 200 or something already built into the software. You literally just choose the next merchant thing, you put in your account information, and it's live that fast. And I get people all the time calling up, complaining and yelling at me because I give them my cell phone saying, I didn't get my qualified for commissions last week, and I pulled up their account, so you're not active. They're like, What do you mean? I don't know, your card didn't go through, so we had to deactivate their account. Then they find out, oh, my expiration date didn't go through. It coincided with my mortgage payment. I did not want to be not active. Why didn't you just charge my card again? And I hear that all the time.
Oh, so you don't have it set up to automatically hit their card again a week later.
This particular merchant, and they're huge. It's a big company.
But they don't have that option. Yeah.
Yeah.
JR, what other risks do you think there are with this particular website that buyers need to be aware of?
Besides a little bit of bad testimonials out there, and again, I'm always suspect of where those testimonials are coming from, especially when you try to respond and they will not post that positive response, or you said you've seen positive testimonials as well. And I ask those people to go to a specific site to post something and it never gets approved. That's kind of true.
Yeah, some of them look legitimate. Some of them look just like whiners. And then some of them look like, and you always see this, you see this in the online space, you see this in MLM, where is this a scam? Right, has a question, and then you go to the site and it does this whole thing, and there are affiliates for it, and they're basically just tricking you to get you to sign up. Oh, it's so messy. It's so crazy, man. Is this a scam? Right?
They have all kinds of other ads to their other affiliate programs pasted all over the site.
Yeah,
so I kind of thick-skinned over it. It's just kind of the nature of the industry. It's just kind of people take a cheap shot at a network marketing company, and because other people have been involved, maybe they haven't had success, and they feel like, we'll just jump on the bandwagon. But that's why we go back to, we don't charge up front. We don't charge for access to the website. We don't do all these weird things that maybe not weird, but things that I didn't feel comfortable, if I had to charge a distributor just to access their back office.
Jared, tell me really quick about the work required. So what does someone have to do if they take over the site? What are they doing on a daily basis, on a weekly basis? What kind of work is required?
I have two people work for me. I have my son who goes to college. He comes home and processes the orders every single night. What I mean by process the orders is we get an email from the credit card processor, and then my son goes in and actually puts that information into the computer. It takes him 20, 30 minutes a day. I mean, obviously, the amount of orders that come in, that would greatly increase. And let me also say the merchant account that I have is not one that's programmed into the software. That's what we have to manually put in every single order. If they went with one of the other merchant providers, that part's already done. When somebody buys something, it automatically is appended to their account. So outside of that, I have a VA in the Philippines, and they go in and, I think it's the Philippines. Anyways, he goes in and actually sends the order to our customer. What I mean by that, my son will just type out on a text pad, which is shareable on Dropbox, and he'll put in all the emails next to the package that those people bought for the day, and he saves that to Dropbox. The VA sees that text file, and then he uses an email provider that we have online, and then he sends an email with the correct package attached to their email. Then he drags that package off to our archive, and that way the next day there's new leads sitting there.
That makes sense. Is the VA going with the sale? Is the VA willing to stay on?
Yep, I'd probably give him a raise. I use Odesk, and I forgot exactly. I think he's at $2.30 an hour now or something. I believe Odesk after November it's like a $3 minimum. I gave him a bonus for Christmas, so he's happy. He's been with us since probably a few months after we launched the company. And
what about your son, man? Are you selling your son with the business?
I talked to him, and he actually sets up those lead capture system sites as well. And so he's more than happy to do it. He goes to college during the day, and so for him to do something a little bit, I pay him $12 an hour. I have him keep his own hours, so you probably have to have a little bit better of a system. I just tell him once a month what I owe you, and so you probably have to have something a little bit better for him. But it's not that big of a deal.
Cool.
And you could, with somebody with the right merchant services, that would cut that part of the job out. So you would even have that. You would only need the VA. And another thing is, I've actually talked to the software company, and this is something that would be custom that they have to build, is they could go in and build something that would automatically attach those lead packages to the person's back office. So that's something to look at down the road.
Gotcha. JR, what kind of skills do you think are required for this? Like, do you have to be in the MLM or network marketing space? I mean, are there any kind of requirements, or are they more like nice to haves?
I guess, people skills if you're going to do a conference call. But outside of that, if you had somebody that had, network marketing experience, in some cases, it's probably, too much baggage, I think. Because they want things done a certain way because this is the way the previous company did it or whatever. Sometimes if you look at any company out there, any network marketing company, you look at a Zango, you look at the old, you look at any of these companies, it seems to always be some fresh new person that came in who came from a real estate background or a business background. They had no experience in network marketing, and they became the biggest distributor in the company. And so that's what I think would be a perfect match. Somebody who could even look beyond just selling. I won't mention the name of the company, but it's very generic. It's geared towards leads exclusively. So traffic and leads, even outside of network marketing, is a huge niche.
Gotcha. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned this before in terms of like a non-compete. Are you willing to sign like a non-compete just to show that you're not willing to compete with this business directly and selling leads to MLMs or network marketers?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, and then in terms of support, I know that obviously if you kept a small equity stake in the sale, you would be willing to support on a much longer basis, but would you still be willing to give, 60 days, 90 days support if it were a full sale?
Yeah, absolutely. And they'd have access to the user forum, the knowledge base, all the articles that I've written. So when they do have a support question come in, very simple to respond to, but I would walk them through all of that.
Cool. And are you open to like kind of let's say a creative like earn out or buyout structure where it's like, let's say 70% up front, 20% 30 days after training, or, 60% up front and 5% over the next X amount of months, depending on X, Y, or Z? Are you open to some of those creative financing structures?
I am. I think I'm more interested in some kind of a long-term, where I own a little piece of it. And that's why I'm hoping, even the guy or gal who comes along who doesn't have the money to buy something has done 1.3 million or whatever in the last 2.5, 3 years, maybe they are the person to take this thing to, 3 million a year or 5 million a year. I want to be along for the ride. So I don't want to cut that person out because they don't have $250,000 sitting there to buy me out or something.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like you're open. I'm sure we're going to get some buyers that come up. And sometimes our buyers do come up with some really creative stuff, things that like protect their interests and actually, in some cases, protect the seller's interest too long term. So this would be, I think, interesting listing. Let's do a quick summary of the site. The website was built October 2011, even though you had the idea for it in 2010. It's in the network marketing niche or MLM niche. It sells leads. It also has distributors, or, the online world would say affiliates. There's no limit to how many wide or deep you have in terms of your team under you, but you don't get direct contact with those people. You as the owner do, but each individual person does not. It makes just over $11,000 a month in net profit right now. It's done, just over $1 million, 1.2, 1.3 in the last few years. It gets about 100,000 page views a month, and the revenue comes primarily through a weekly recurring lead sales / membership fee that they're paying via credit card. Does that sum it up pretty well?
It does, yep.
Great. All right, JR, give me your best pitch on why someone should purchase or at least look at purchasing this site. About 30 seconds to 60 seconds. What would you tell them?
I would say that the network marketing niche is a very exciting niche because it can grow so fast, and you don't have to go out there and put all this money into paying pay-per-click and, press releases and all that. You go out there, have a great conference call with your team, which you already have over 50,000 right now. It can catch fire literally within hours, not months or years like other conventions.